The airport was packed with the usual chaos: families juggling luggage, honeymooners taking selfies, and exhausted businessmen rushing to their gates. I should have been excited. This trip had been planned for months, a much-needed break from the grind of work and the slow decay of routine in my marriage. Vanessa and I had been looking forward to this for weeks. Or at least I had. Vanessa was radiant in her flowy beach dress, her dark hair cascading over her shoulders in effortless waves. She wore the sunglasses I had gifted her last Christmas, and her smile, bright, flirtatious, was aimed at everyone but me. Her friends surrounded her, chatting excitedly about spa treatments, beach excursions, and the resort's exclusive rooftop bar. I lagged behind, handling the luggage, not that anyone seemed to notice. "Babe," Vanessa called, her voice syrupy sweet. "Did you grab my other bag?" I adjusted the strap of her oversized designer tote on my shoulder. "Yeah, I got it." "Perfect," she said, already turning away before I could say anything else. I swallowed my irritation. Maybe I was just overthinking things. She'd been distant lately, but I told myself it was just stress. The flight was uneventful. Vanessa barely spoke to me, immersed in conversation with her best friend Kelsey, who sat beside her. I had been stuck in an aisle seat, separated from her entirely. When we landed, I took in the sight of the resort, a pristine, sprawling oasis with palm trees swaying lazily in the tropical breeze. The deep blue of the ocean sparkled under the midday sun, and the sound of waves crashing against the shore was hypnotic. It should have been paradise. Instead, it became my personal hell. We reached the front desk, Vanessa and her friends giggling amongst themselves as the receptionist greeted us with a rehearsed, polished smile. "Welcome to the Azure Reef Resort. Name on the reservation?" Vanessa stepped forward, flipping her hair over one shoulder. "Vanessa Moore." The receptionist typed away on her keyboard, then smiled. "Ah, yes. We have you in a luxury oceanfront suite, Ms. Moore." I smiled and set down the bags, already reaching for my wallet to check us in. Then the receptionist glanced at me. "And you, sir?" "Mark Moore," I said, sliding my ID onto the counter. Her fingers clacked against the keyboard. She frowned slightly, then typed again. "I'm sorry, Mr. Moore. I don't seem to have a reservation under your name." I blinked. "What?" She turned the screen slightly, as if I needed proof. "There's no booking under Mark Moore." I let out a small laugh, waiting for Vanessa to step in and clear it up. She didn't. Instead, she glanced at her friends, her lips curling into something almost amused. "Oh," she said lightly. "Did I forget to book yours?" The words hit me like a truck. I stared at her, waiting for her to break into laughter, to tell me she was messing with me. But her expression didn't change. "You forgot?" I repeated, my voice tight. Kelsey giggled beside her, biting her lip as if trying to hold back laughter. One of the guys in the group, Brad, smirked. "Damn, bro. That's rough. We all made sure to book our rooms in advance." The other couples in our group stepped up one by one, grabbing their keys, making their way toward the elevators, throwing pitying glances my way. My ears buzzed. My fingers curled into fists at my sides. Vanessa leaned against the counter, checking her nails. "It was an honest mistake, babe. I guess I just assumed you'd handle your own." "That's bull asterisk 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 asterisk, Vanessa, and you know it," I snapped. Her expression darkened. "Relax. There are plenty of rooms here. Just book one now." I turned to the receptionist, struggling to keep my temper in check. "Is there another available room?" She hesitated before saying, "I'm afraid the resort is completely booked for the week, sir. We're at full capacity." I inhaled sharply. "So you're telling me there's nowhere for me to stay?" "I'm so sorry," she said, her voice laced with discomfort. "You might be able to find something in town, but all resort accommodations are taken." Vanessa shrugged. "Well, guess you'll just have to figure something out." "Are you serious right now?" I said, my voice rising. She sighed, rubbing her temples as if I was the problem. "Look, Mark, I didn't do this on purpose. It's not my fault you don't have a room. Kelsey burst into laughter beside her. Damn, girl. You really left him hanging, huh? Brad snorted. Tough break, man. Should have double-checked your reservation. The group walked away, leaving me standing there, my wife trailing after them without a backward glance. I turned back to the receptionist. Are you sure there's nothing? She gave me an apologetic smile. I really am sorry, sir. The realization sank in like a lead weight in my chest. My wife hadn't booked me a room. Not by accident. Deliberately. And now, I had nowhere to stay. With rage bubbling beneath my skin, I picked up my bags and turned toward the exit. If Vanessa thought she could humiliate me, if she thought I'd just roll over and accept this, she had another thing coming. Because now, I was going to find out exactly why she didn't want me here. And I wasn't leaving until I had answers. I stood in the resort lobby, my fists clenched, my mind racing. The air smelled of coconut and salt water, but all I could taste was the bitterness rising in my throat. Vanessa forgot to book my room? Star. She hadn't even looked surprised when the receptionist told me. In fact, she and her friends had laughed. I grabbed my bag and marched toward the elevators, ignoring the receptionist's apologetic gaze. If Vanessa thought I was going to slink off with my tail between my legs, she was out of her damn mind. The elevator doors slid open with a ding. I stepped inside just as someone called out. Hey, Mark! You need a place to crash? I turned to see Tyler, one of the other guys in the group. He was standing near the bar with a beer in hand, his tanned face twisted in amusement. I didn't know him well, just that he was dating one of Vanessa's friends, Danielle. He was always the type to stir sh***, but right now, I didn't care. You got a spare bed? I asked. Tyler chuckled, shaking his head. Nah, man. Just ******** ing with you. A fresh round of laughter erupted from the lounge area where the group had gathered. I spotted Vanessa at the center of it all, a cocktail in hand, her head thrown back in laughter. My stomach churned. I turned away before I did something stupid and slammed the elevator button. As the doors slid shut, my mind was made up. I wasn't going to let this slide. Vanessa's room was on the top floor, a luxury suite overlooking the ocean. I found the door easily enough, knocked once, then let myself in. She was already inside, tossing her sandals into the closet, a drink still in hand. She turned at the sound of the door, arching an eyebrow. Seriously, Mark? She sighed. Could you be any more dramatic? I dropped my bag with a loud thud and crossed my arms. Why didn't you book my room? She took a long sip of her drink before answering. I told you, it was a mistake. ****. You booked yours. You booked everyone else's. But somehow, I was the only one left out. She set the glass down and gave me a lazy smile. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Just go stay at another hotel. I stepped closer. Oh yeah? And how exactly was I supposed to know I didn't have a room until I got here? You didn't even bother to tell me. Vanessa sighed, rolling her eyes. Mark, please. I didn't think it was a big deal. I figured you'd figure it out. That's a hell of a thing to figure out last minute. My voice was low, controlled, but I was fuming. Vanessa just shrugged. You're blowing this way out of proportion. Am I? Because it looked a lot like you and your friends knew this was going to happen. That wasn't a mistake, Vanessa. That was planned. For the first time, a flicker of something crossed her face. Annoyance? Guilt? I couldn't tell. You're being paranoid, she muttered, turning toward the closet. I stared at her, my mind racing. What the hell was going on? Was she trying to push me away? Embarrass me? And for what? Then it hit me. The real question wasn't just why she hadn't booked my room. It was who she had booked it for instead. I stepped forward, my voice sharp. Tell me something. If I don't have a room, then who does? Vanessa's back stiffened. Got you. She turned slowly, her expression carefully neutral. But I saw it, the slight hesitation, the way her fingers tensed against her drink. "Why the F*** would you ask me that?" she said, her tone light but forced. I took another step closer, narrowing my eyes. "Because I don't believe for a second that this was an accident. And you're acting a little too calm for someone who just abandoned her husband on vacation." Her nostrils flared. "You're being ridiculous." "Am I?" I challenged. She huffed, brushing past me toward the bed. "God, Mark! Can you just stop? You always do this, turn everything into some big conspiracy." "Everything?" I scoffed. "When have I ever accused you of something like this before?" She didn't answer. Instead, she grabbed her phone off the nightstand, her fingers moving fast, too fast, like she was trying to clear something before I could see it. I was done playing nice. I snatched the phone out of her hand. "Mark!" she shrieked, lunging for it, but I stepped back, gripping it tight. I had never gone through her phone before. Not once. But right now, I had every damn reason. My pulse pounded as I pulled up her recent messages. And there it was. A text from a name I didn't recognize. "Room 714. Can't wait to see you tonight, Red Heart." My blood turned ice cold. Vanessa went pale. "Mark, give me my ing phone." I stared at her, my hands shaking. "Room 714? She swallowed, her lips parting, but no words came out. That was all the confirmation I needed. I let out a hollow laugh and tossed her phone onto the bed. "So that's it, huh?" My voice was eerily calm. "That's why I don't have a room." "Mark, it's not what you think." I held up a hand. Don't insult me by lying." Silence stretched between us. Outside, the ocean waves crashed against the shore. Inside, something inside me cracked open, raw and exposed. I had come on this trip thinking it was a vacation. Turns out, I was just the ing joke. Vanessa finally spoke, her voice small. "Mark, what are you gonna do?" I looked at her, at the woman I had spent years loving, trusting. And for the first time, I saw her for exactly what she was. I picked up my bag. And without another word, I walked out of Vanessa's room, my pulse hammering so loud it drowned out the sounds of the resort around me. My hands trembled as I clenched the handle of my suitcase, my mind replaying that message over and over. "Room 714. Can't wait to see you tonight, Red Heart." That text wasn't just a betrayal, it was AF ****ing confirmation. Vanessa hadn't just forgotten to book my room. She'd deliberately planned to come on this trip with someone else. And I had been the F ****ing idiot carrying her bags. I took long strides down the hall, each step fueled by rage, humiliation, and something else I didn't want to name, something raw, something that made my throat tighten. I stopped in front of room 714. I stood there for a long moment, staring at the gold numbers on the door. My fingers twitched, tempted to knock, to kick the F ****ing door down, to see exactly what kind of lowlife was waiting inside for my wife. No, not my wife. Not anymore. Instead, I took a deep breath and stepped back. Bursting in there wouldn't get me anything but another dose of humiliation. I needed to be smart. Vanessa had played me for a fool, but I wasn't going to let her walk away from this clean. I wasn't just going to find out who was inside that room. I was going to make sure Vanessa and her mystery man paid for every ounce of their betrayal. But first, I needed AF ****ing place to sleep. I took the elevator down to the lobby, my grip tight on my suitcase as I approached the front desk. The receptionist, the same one who had looked at me with pity earlier, straightened when she saw me. "Sir, I'm really sorry about the mix-up earlier. Do you have any rooms available?" I asked, my voice low, strained. She sighed, shaking her head. "We're still at full capacity, but I can put you on a waiting list in case something opens up." I exhaled sharply, pressing my fingers into my temple. "Right. Fine. I turned to leave when a voice behind me spoke. You need a place to stay? I spun around to see a man standing near the bar, nursing a glass of whiskey. He was older than me, maybe mid-50s, dressed in a linen shirt and khaki pants, his silver hair neatly combed back. His expression was knowing, like he had seen everything that just happened. Who's asking? I muttered. He smirked, taking a slow sip of his drink before setting it down. Name's Daniel. I've got a suite with an extra pull-out bed. If you need a spot for the night, you're welcome to crash there. I frowned. Why? He chuckled. Because I know that look, son. You just got screwed over. I hesitated for half a second before nodding. All right. What other choice did I have? Daniel's suite was on the 3rd floor, far from Vanessa's luxury suite and room 714. He unlocked the door and gestured for me to step in. The room was nice, but I'd barely registered it. My mind was still spinning, my chest tight. Daniel walked over to the minibar and grabbed 2 glasses, pouring whiskey into both. He handed me one, then settled into the armchair across from me. So, he said, swirling his drink. Want to tell me who she is? I let out a bitter laugh. My wife. Daniel's brow lifted slightly. Damn. That's rough. I took a sip of whiskey, letting the burn ground me. Yeah. Silence settled between us. Then he spoke again. You going to confront her? I exhaled sharply. Oh, I already did. I ran a hand through my hair. She just kept lying, like I was some ing idiot. But I saw the message. I shook my head, the rage bubbling up again. She booked a room for some other guy and left me stranded. Daniel studied me for a long moment. Then he leaned forward, resting his elbows on his knees. You know, I've been through this before, he said, his voice quieter now. Caught my ex-wife sneaking around with some real estate prick. Thought my world was ending. I glanced at him. What did you do? Daniel smirked. I didn't just catch her, I made sure she felt caught. He took another sip of whiskey, then set his glass down. You want revenge, kid? I blinked. No, don't answer yet. He sat back, drumming his fingers on the armrest. You're pissed, yeah? But right now you're reacting. You walk into that room, you throw some punches, maybe you even embarrass her in front of her friends. But then what? I stayed silent, my jaw clenched. Then, Daniel continued. She plays the victim. She cries. Her friends coddle her. And you become the bad guy. My grip on the glass tightened. He wasn't wrong. So what do? I finally asked. Daniel grinned. You flipped the script. I frowned. Meaning? He leaned in. You don't chase after the truth. You let her expose herself. I exhaled, trying to push through the anger clouding my brain. How? Daniel chuckled. Easy. You make her think you don't care. You act like you're totally unbothered. He swirled his drink. People like her? They hate that. She wants you to be angry, to fight for her. She wants to be the center of your attention. I nodded slowly. And if I don't give her that? His smirk widened. Then she starts slipping. The guilt, the confusion, it'll eat at her. She'll either confess, or she'll get careless enough that she exposes herself in front of everyone. I leaned back, staring at the ceiling. It was crazy. But it also made sense. I wasn't just going to let Vanessa make a fool out of me. I wasn't going to throw a tantrum and storm off while she enjoyed her romantic getaway. No. I was going to stay. I was going to play it cool. And by the time this vacation was over, Vanessa would wish she had never done this to me. I woke up to the soft hum of waves crashing against the shore. For a brief second, I forgot where I was. Then reality slammed back into me like a freight train. I wasn't in my suite with Vanessa. I wasn't waking up to a relaxing vacation with my wife. I was sleeping on ing pull-out bed in a stranger's room because my wife had reserved a room for her other man. The anger burned fresh in my chest, but I forced myself to take a deep breath. Daniel's words echoed in my head from the night before. You make her think you don't care. Right. No anger. No confrontation. Just patience. Vanessa thought she had everything under control. She thought she had won. She had no idea what was coming. After a quick shower and a borrowed change of clothes from Daniel, loose linen shorts and a crisp white button-down, I stepped out onto the balcony, coffee in hand. The sun was already high, and the resort was buzzing with life. Couples lounged by the infinity pool, waiters carried trays of cocktails, and in the distance, I spotted a group of familiar faces gathered at an outdoor bar. Vanessa's friends. I spotted her instantly, sitting cross-legged in a poolside cabana, oversized sunglasses shielding her eyes. Kelsey was beside her, talking animatedly, while Brad and Tyler leaned against the bar laughing. And then there was him. I recognized him immediately from old work functions, Jason Holloway. A corporate sleazeball from Vanessa's firm. Mid-40s, built like a guy who only did vanity workouts, always bragging about his business trips. That conveniently overlapped with Vanessa's travel schedule. So this was the guy. I smirked. Perfect. I strolled over, making a show of adjusting my sleeves, looking as relaxed as I could. Kelsey spotted me first. Her mouth curled into an amused smirk, like she was expecting me to throw a fit. Well. She nudged Vanessa. Look who's still here. Vanessa turned her head slowly, lowering her sunglasses just enough to meet my gaze. There was something in her eyes, surprise. She hadn't expected me to stay. Morning, babe. I said casually, setting my coffee down on the table next to her. Did you sleep well? Her lips parted slightly, as if she wasn't sure how to respond. Kelsey snorted. Wait. Where did you even sleep? Oh, I found a spot, I said, waving it off. Not a big deal. I leaned back in my chair, stretching. Beautiful morning, huh? Brad chuckled. Damn, man. You're taking this like a champ. I shot him a grin. Why wouldn't I? It's a vacation. I could feel Vanessa's eyes on me. She was waiting for something, a crack in my facade, a flicker of resentment. But I gave her nothing. And that pissed her off. Mark, she said, her voice slower now, carefully controlled. Are you mad at me? I raised an eyebrow, pretending to think about it. Why would I be mad? Kelsey snorted. Because she forgot to book your room? I chuckled. Come on. Vanessa's got a lot on her plate. Mistakes happen. Vanessa's fingers tightened around her mimosa glass. She wasn't used to this. She expected anger, yelling, some kind of reaction. Instead, I was treating her like she was irrelevant. Jason finally spoke up, clearing his throat. That's very mature of you, Mark. I turned my gaze on him, slow and deliberate. Jason. Good to see you, man. His smile was tight. Yeah. You too. I took a sip of my coffee, letting the silence settle. Jason shifted uncomfortably. Good. I actually meant to ask, I said, setting my cup down. What room are you staying in? Jason stiffened just slightly, enough for me to catch. Oh, just a standard suite, he said quickly. Vanessa shot him a look, one that screamed shut the F*** up. I smirked. You're already slipping, sweetheart. I leaned back, tapping my fingers on the table. Well, maybe I can crash with you, man. Since Vanessa doesn't have space for me and all. The table went dead silent. Jason coughed, his eyes darting toward Vanessa. I don't think that's a good idea. Vanessa cut in sharply. I turned to her, feigning confusion. Why not? She hesitated just a second too long. Then she plastered on a fake smile. I just think you'd be more comfortable somewhere else. Kelsey was grinning now, sensing the shift in power. Brad and Tyler exchanged glances, clearly enjoying the show. I stood, dusting off my shirt. All right, no problem. I'll figure something out. Vanessa's lips pressed into a thin line. You really don't mind? Like at all? I smiled. Not even a little bit. Then I turned and walked away, leaving her stewing in her own mess. I barely made it 10 steps before I heard rapid footsteps behind me. Mark! I smirked before turning. Vanessa stood there, arms crossed, lips pursed in frustration. I leaned against a pillar. What's up? Her nostrils flared. Are you really not upset about this? I shrugged. It's whatever. Boolsh ***. Her voice dropped. You know what's happening, don't you? I tilted my head. What exactly do you think I know, Vanessa? She opened her mouth, then closed it. Her hesitation was all I needed. Vanessa was nervous. Not just because I was staying calm, but because she didn't know what I was planning. And that terrified her. I leaned in just slightly, keeping my voice casual. Look, babe, I'm just here to have a good time. That's what you wanted, right? She stared at me, searching my face for some kind of trap. I smiled. Enjoy your vacation. Then I walked away, leaving her standing there, completely ********ing rattled. I spent the rest of the morning lounging by the pool, sipping a cold beer, and watching the world move around me. It was a strange feeling, being at a luxury resort, surrounded by couples and honeymooners, while knowing my wife was somewhere inside, probably losing her ******ing mind trying to figure out what I was up to. Good. Vanessa wanted to humiliate me, to push me out of the picture while she played house with Jason. She thought I'd break, that I'd cause a scene, that I'd storm off in defeat. Instead, I was doing nothing. And that was driving her insane. It didn't take long before I saw her again. I was at the swim-up bar, enjoying another drink, when I heard her voice behind me. Having fun? I smirked before turning around. Vanessa stood at the edge of the pool in her designer bikini, her sunglasses perched on top of her head, her lips tight. I took a slow sip of my beer. Yeah, actually. She raised an eyebrow. You seem relaxed? Why wouldn't I be? I said, leaning back against the bar. We're on vacation, right? Her jaw tightened just slightly. Right. I could see the tension in her shoulders, the way she was struggling to keep her usual smug composure. She expected resentment. A fight. Something. Instead, I just smiled and took another sip. You're being weird, she finally said. I shrugged. Or maybe you're just being paranoid. That got her. A flicker of hesitation flashed across her face before she forced another smile. I didn't think you'd want to stay. I tilted my head. Why? She hesitated. And in that second I saw it. Doubt. Vanessa had been so sure of herself when we arrived. So confident in her plan. But now, standing here, she wasn't sure if she'd miscalculated. I decided to twist the knife. I leaned in slightly, keeping my voice low. It's almost like you wanted me to leave. She tensed. That's not what I grinned. Relax, babe. I'm just messing with you. Vanessa let out a forced laugh, but I could see the cracks forming. She had expected to control this situation. But now, she wasn't so sure. That night, the group had planned a fancy dinner at one of the resort's upscale restaurants. It was one of those high-end spots where the plates were small, the wine was expensive, and the atmosphere was just pretentious enough to make people feel important. I arrived a little late on purpose. By the time I walked in, everyone was already seated. The table was long, lit by candlelight, the ocean waves crashing in the distance. Vanessa was sitting next to Jason. I didn't miss the way her hand rested on the stem of her wine glass, her fingers just inches from his. Interesting. I kept my expression neutral as I pulled out the chair directly across from them and sat down. Jason cleared his throat, shifting slightly under my gaze. Mark. Good to see you, man. I smiled. Yeah, you too. Crazy how we both ended up here, huh? Jason's fingers tightened around his glass. Yeah? Kelsey smirked from down the table, clearly enjoying the show. So, I continued, reaching for the menu. How's work been, Jason? Vanessa never really talks about it. Jason glanced at Vanessa, who shot him a warning look. It's been good, he said carefully. Busy, you know. I nodded. Oh, I bet. Lot of late nights, huh? The tension at the table was thick. I could see Vanessa gripping her fork a little tighter, her jaw clenched. Jason swallowed. Yeah? Sometimes. I let the silence hang. Let them sweat. Then I grinned and picked up my drink. Well, hope you get some real rest this week. We all need it. Vanessa exhaled sharply, clearly irritated. Jason took a long sip of his wine, avoiding my gaze. I had them right where I wanted them. Halfway through dinner, Vanessa excused herself to the restroom. A minute later, Jason set down his napkin. Gonna grab some air, he muttered before getting up and heading toward the balcony. I counted to 5. Then I followed. I found him leaning against the railing, staring out at the dark ocean. He jumped slightly when I joined him. Nice view, I said casually. Jason cleared his throat. Yeah. Silence stretched between us. Then I spoke. You ing my wife, Jason? Jason choked on his own spit, spinning to face me. W what? I didn't blink. You heard me. His face paled. I don't know what you're talking about. I chuckled. Come on, man. We both know Vanessa isn't exactly subtle. I leaned against the railing. That text? Room 714? You might as well have sent me AF ****ing invitation. Jason took a step back, his eyes darting toward the restaurant. Mark, I swear. I held up a hand. Relax. I don't really give a sh****. He frowned. You don't? Nope. I sipped my drink. Honestly, I'm just here to enjoy myself. Jason eyed me like he was waiting for the catch. But, I added, Vanessa doesn't know that. He tensed. She's been on edge all day. I mused. Worried. Paranoid. I turned to him, smirking. And if she thinks I'm up to something, she's going to start making mistakes. Jason swallowed hard. What are you planning? I chuckled. Wouldn't you like to know? Then I patted his shoulder and strolled back inside, leaving him standing there, completely ***ing terrified. Jason didn't come back inside right away. I knew because I made a point of watching the balcony from my seat. He stood out there, gripping the railing, staring at the dark ocean like it held all the answers. Vanessa, back at the table, kept sneaking glances toward the doors, waiting for him. Her fingers tapped impatiently against her wine glass, her usual confidence thinning by the second. I smirked to myself and took another sip of my drink. The cracks were showing. When Jason finally did return, his expression was tight, his movements stiff. He barely looked at Vanessa before sliding into his seat. She leaned in, whispering something to him, but he just gave a curt nod, his jaw clenched. Interesting. I let the dinner play out, keeping my usual casual demeanor, chatting with Kelsey and Brad while pretending not to notice Vanessa shooting daggers at me from across the table. She was fidgeting. Uncomfortable. She had expected me to confront her, to explode, to leave, to fight. Instead, I was sitting here, enjoying my meal, acting like nothing was wrong. And that was driving her insane. After dinner, most of the group wandered toward the beachside bar for more drinks. I, however, took my time, strolling past the infinity pool, taking in the view. I wasn't surprised when I heard hurried footsteps behind me. Mark! I turned, my expression perfectly relaxed. Vanessa! She crossed her arms, her posture tense. You're messing with me. I arched an eyebrow. Am I? Yes. She let out a sharp breath. You're playing some kind of ****ing game, and I don't know what it is, but I'm done with it. I chuckled. That's funny. I'm the one playing games? Her lips pressed into a thin line. You should have left, Mark. You weren't supposed to stay. There it was. I took a slow step forward, lowering my voice. And why is that, Vanessa? She swallowed. Because. She stopped herself, shaking her head. Because you don't belong here. I laughed. No, see. Jason doesn't belong here. Her eyes flickered with something, fear. You don't know what you're talking about, she muttered. I smirked. You sure about that? Silence. She hated this. Hated that she couldn't read me anymore. Hated that she was the one feeling unsteady. I took another step closer, dropping my voice even lower. Tell me something, Vanessa. Did you think I was just going to roll over? Take it like some pathetic, clueless husband? She didn't answer. I leaned in just slightly. You're nervous, aren't you? Her nostrils flared. I'm not. I smirked. Then why are you shaking? She went still. For the first time since I had met her, Vanessa looked afraid of me. Not because I was going to hurt her. No, that would be too easy. She was afraid because I wasn't reacting the way she expected. Because for once, she was the one who didn't know what was coming next. I gave her a slow, knowing smile. Enjoy your vacation, babe. Then I walked away, leaving her standing there, fists clenched, completely ing rattled. I found a spot at the beachside bar, ordering another drink, enjoying the night breeze. 5 minutes later, Jason stormed in. He looked wrecked, sweaty, tense, his eyes darting around like he expected someone to be watching. I watched as he yanked out his phone, typing furiously, then pacing. He kept glancing toward the pool area, waiting for Vanessa. I smirked to myself. The pressure was getting to him. I let the moment simmer before standing and strolling over, beer in hand. Rough night? I asked, keeping my voice light. Jason nearly jumped. Jesus, Mark! He exhaled sharply. You scared the sh** out of me. I chuckled. Did I? He wiped a hand down his face. Look, man, I don't know what's going on with you and Vanessa, but… Why are you so nervous, Jason? I interrupted. His mouth snapped shut. I tilted my head. You seem uneasy. He swallowed. Is it because Vanessa's unraveling? I mused, swirling my drink. Or because you're next? Jason stiffened. I don't. I smirked. You didn't think she'd turn on you, did you? His hands curled into fists. Oh, I said, chuckling. She hasn't yet? Give it a day. Maybe 2. Jason let out a harsh breath. I don't have time for this, Mark. I stepped closer, lowering my voice. Let me tell you how this ends, Jason. He swallowed hard. Vanessa is spiraling, I continued. And when she finally loses control, when she gets desperate to fix her mistake, do you know what she'll do? Silence. She'll blame you. Jason's face paled. She'll say you pursued her. That you pressured her into this. I smirked. She'll play the victim. And you? You'll be the villain. Jason clenched his jaw. That's not going to happen. I shrugged. If you say so. He exhaled sharply, rubbing his temples. Jesus. I patted his shoulder. Better start thinking about how you're going to spin this, Jason. Then I walked away, leaving him standing there, staring at his phone like it might explode. It was well past midnight when I finally made it back to my room. Daniel was already asleep, snoring lightly in his bed. I moved quietly, setting my stuff down, ready to crash. Then my phone vibrated. A text. Vanessa, we need to talk. Now. I smirked. She was cracking. And I was about to watch her break. I stared at Vanessa's text, the glow of my phone screen the only light in the darkened hotel room. We need to talk. Now. A part of me expected this. She had spent the entire day watching me, waiting for me to crack, to explode, to react. But I didn't. And that was eating her alive. I smirked. Good. I glanced at Daniel, who was still snoring lightly in the other bed, then stretched, rolling my shoulders. Fine, Vanessa. You want to talk? Let's talk. I grabbed my keycard and slipped out into the night. Her suite was on the top floor. I took my time getting there, enjoying the knowledge that every second she waited, she was probably pacing the floor, spiraling. When I finally knocked, the door swung open almost immediately. Vanessa stood there, her arms crossed over her silk robe, eyes flashing with frustration. She stepped aside, letting me in. I walked past her, looking around the lavish suite. Everything was pristine, the untouched champagne bucket, the neatly arranged luggage, the expensive perfume lingering in the air. One detail stood out. There was only one glass next to the champagne. I smirked. Jason's not here? Vanessa exhaled sharply, slamming the door behind me. What the F*** are you doing, Mark? I turned, acting confused. Having a great vacation. You. Her jaw clenched. Cut the sh**. I chuckled, strolling toward the window, looking out at the dark ocean. Why don't you tell me what this is about, Vanessa? You know what this is about, she snapped. You're screwing with me. I turned to face her, raising an eyebrow. Am I? She let out a sharp breath, running a hand through her hair. You're acting like you don't care. I tilted my head. Maybe I don't. That hit her like a slap. She stared at me, her chest rising and falling, lips parted slightly. She had been expecting anger, accusations, something. Instead, I was standing here, completely at ease. I saw the flicker of doubt in her eyes. For the first time since this trip started, Vanessa was unsure of herself. She took a step closer, dropping her voice. Mark, just be honest with me. What do you want? I let the silence stretch, making her sweat. Then I smirked. I want to watch you fall apart. Her breath hitched. What? I stepped toward her, closing the gap, my voice dropping to a whisper. I know about room 714, Vanessa. She froze. I smiled. I know about Jason. I know why you didn't book me a room. And I know that right now you're ing terrified because you have no idea what I'm going to do next. She swallowed hard. Mark. I took another step forward, and she backed up instinctively until her back hit the wall. You thought you could play me, I murmured. Thought I'd get mad, leave, let you do whatever you wanted. I chuckled. But now, you're stuck here with me. She stared up at me, her confidence gone. And for the first time in our marriage, Vanessa was afraid of me. Not because I was going to hurt her. No, that would be too easy. She was afraid because she realized she had no control over this situation anymore. I leaned in just slightly, watching her breathing grow shallow. Then I smiled. Enjoy your vacation, babe. I turned and walked out, leaving her standing there, shaking. I didn't go straight back to my room. Instead, I made a detour. I took the elevator down to room 714. I knocked, waited. After a few seconds, the door cracked open. Jason's eyes widened when he saw me. Mark. I grinned. Hey, buddy. He hesitated, glancing down the hall like he was expecting Vanessa. I leaned against the doorframe. She's not coming. His throat bobbed. What do you want? I shrugged. Just wanted to check in. See how you're holding up. Jason exhaled, running a hand down his face. He looked like sh***, hair disheveled, stress lines creasing his forehead. Look, man, I didn't. I held up a hand. Relax. I don't really care. He blinked. You don't? Nope. I smirked. Vanessa's already imploding, and you? You're next. Jason's jaw tightened. That's not going to happen. I chuckled. Sure. But tell me something. I stepped forward, lowering my voice. When Vanessa needs to save herself, do you really think she's going to protect you? Jason swallowed hard. She'll throw you under the bus, I continued. She'll cry, play the victim, tell everyone you pressured her into this. I smiled. And you? You'll be the villain. His face went pale. You need to get ahead of this, Jason. I said, patting his shoulder. Because the second Vanessa realizes she can't manipulate me, she's going to turn on you. Jason stood there, frozen. I turned and walked away, whistling to myself that I barely made it back to my room before my phone vibrated again. Vanessa, meet me at the rooftop lounge. Now. I smirked. She was cracking. I took my time, showering, changing into a fresh linen shirt, looking completely unbothered. Then I made my way to the rooftop lounge, where Vanessa was waiting at a secluded table, 2 drinks already poured. I sat down across from her, stretching my arms. What's up? She stared at me, her knuckles white around her glass. You're ruining everything. I chuckled. Am I? Her jaw clenched. You're playing mind games, Mark. I leaned in. No, Vanessa. You played a game. You just didn't expect to lose. She inhaled sharply, her composure crumbling. I smirked. Go ahead. Tell me what you want from me. She hesitated, then did something I didn't expect. Her eyes softened. Her voice wavered. I just don't want it to end like this. I raised an eyebrow. Like what? She swallowed. Like we hate each other. I let the silence stretch. Then I chuckled. That's cute. Her expression flickered with something desperate. Mark. I held up a hand. I'm going to make this simple. I leaned in, voice low. You don't get to play the victim. Her lips parted. You cheated. You lied. You tried to humiliate me. I continued. And now? Now you're sitting here, pretending to care? She didn't respond. I smiled. Nice try. Then I stood, tossed some cash on the table, and walked away. Behind me, Vanessa sat there, completely ing shattered. She knew it now. She had already lost. Vanessa didn't come after me this time. She just sat there, staring at the untouched drink in front of her, her fingers trembling around the stem of the glass. Good. Let her ing stew in it. I made my way back down to the beachside bar, nodding at the bartender as I slid onto a stool. The ocean breeze was warm, the sound of waves crashing against the shore almost calming. I had won. Vanessa knew it. Jason knew it. And now? It was only a matter of time before they turned on each other. I smirked to myself and took a sip of my whiskey. Showtime. I didn't have to wait long. Maybe 20 minutes after I left Vanessa sitting at the rooftop lounge, I heard a commotion coming from across the bar. I turned my head just in time to see Jason storming in. His face was flushed, his fingers curling into fists at his sides. His eyes were locked onto Vanessa, who had just entered behind him, looking just as furious. The other guests turned to watch, sensing the tension. I leaned back, enjoying the show. Are you ing serious right now? Jason hissed, his voice just loud enough for the nearby tables to hear. Vanessa's head snapped toward him. Keep your voice down. She seethed. Jason didn't. You told me he was leaving. Jason spat, running a frustrated hand through his hair. You said he'd be gone by the first night. Vanessa's jaw clenched. I didn't expect him to stay, Jason. What was I supposed to do? Jason let out a bitter laugh. Oh, I don't know, maybe not ing invite me on a trip with your husband, *. A few people gasped. Someone at the bar whispered. Holy sh**. Vanessa paled. She realized too late what had just happened. Jason, in his panic, had exposed everything. In public. She turned quickly, her eyes darting around, realizing the growing crowd was staring at them now. Her face burned red. Jason, stop. You lied to me. Jason growled, cutting her off. You said this would be easy. That he was clueless. I took a slow sip of my drink, my smirk widening. Vanessa's hands were shaking now. She was unraveling, her usual cool demeanor gone. Jason continued, his voice laced with venom. And now you're acting like I'm the problem? Like if get this up. He shook his head, laughing bitterly. No, Vanessa. This is all on you. Her nostrils flared. Jason, shut up. Jason didn't shut up. You set this up. You booked the ing room. You made sure he didn't have one. You told me it would be our vacation. Vanessa grabbed his arm in desperation. Jason, please. He yanked away from her. Don't ing touch me. Another round of gasps. More whispers. At this point, everyone in the bar knew what was happening. And Vanessa knew it too. Her face was pale now, her breath unsteady. She turned in a slow, almost robotic motion, toward me. Her lips parted slightly, as if she wanted to say something. Apologize. Beg. But I just smiled. Lifted my drink. Took a slow, deliberate sip. Vanessa's hands balled into fists. You! I cut her off, setting my glass down with a quiet clink. You did this to yourself, babe. Her breathing hitched. The weight of everything finally hit her at once. She had lost. Jason had turned on her. Her affair had been exposed to a room full of strangers. And I didn't give a single F***. She had expected me to fight, to beg, to scream. Instead, I was sitting here, enjoying the destruction. She blinked rapidly, as if trying to stop herself from crying. Her gaze darted around the room, but there was nowhere to escape. Everyone had seen it. Everyone knew. And there was no coming back from this. She turned abruptly and stormed out. Jason ran a frustrated hand through his hair, muttered, this, and followed her. The bar was dead silent for a moment. Then Kelsey, who had been watching the entire thing with barely concealed delight, burst into laughter. Jesus Christ, that was ing amazing. She cackled. The tension in the room broke. A few people chuckled. Some shook their heads, sipping their drinks. I just smirked, finishing my whiskey. Game. Set. Match. Back at my room, Daniel was already awake when I walked in. He had a beer in hand, his expression amused. Well? He asked. I tossed my keycard onto the dresser. It's over. Daniel whistled. How bad? I smirked. Jason outed everything in front of a full bar. Daniel nearly spit out his drink. No ing way. I nodded. Vanessa panicked, tried to shut him up, and he turned on her. Called her a liar. Blamed her for everything. Daniel let out a low laugh. And you? I grinned. Sat back and watched. Daniel shook his head, grinning. Damn, kid. I knew you had it in you. I flopped down onto the pull-out bed, exhaling. The adrenaline was wearing off, leaving exhaustion in its place. It was over. Vanessa was done. Jason was done. And me? I was free. But there was one last thing to do before I walked away for good. I grabbed my phone, scrolled through my contacts, and found my lawyer's number. Then I sent a single text. Start the divorce papers. The morning after Vanessa's public humiliation, the resort felt different. The whispers had already spread. The staff, the guests, everyone knew what had happened. It was written all over their faces. The way the bartender smirked when he saw me. The way the receptionist gave me a tight-lipped nod, like she wanted to say good for you but kept it professional. And Vanessa? I hadn't seen her yet. She had disappeared after last night. I imagined she was holed up in her suite, trying to figure out how to undo the damage. Trying to piece together the wreckage of her perfect little fantasy. But there was no fixing this. She had lost. And she knew it. I was sitting at the poolside bar, enjoying my first coffee of the day, when I saw him. Jason. He was pacing near the entrance, looking like absolute SH. He hadn't shaved, his shirt was wrinkled, and the bags under his eyes told me he hadn't slept. Good. He spotted me, hesitated, then marched over. Mark, he said, his voice strained. I sipped my coffee, not bothering to look at him. Morning. Jason pulled out the stool next to me, sitting down heavily. He ran a hand through his messy hair. You *****ing ruined me, man. I smirked. Nah. You did that all by yourself. Jason let out a bitter laugh, shaking his head. I should have known. Vanessa always makes a mess and expects someone else to clean it up. He exhaled sharply. I was *********ing idiot. I turned to him. Yup. Jason clenched his jaw. He swallowed, his pride clearly warring with his desperation. Then, finally, he exhaled. Look, man. I don't know what's going to happen next, but get up. And I know that. He trailed off, gripping the edge of the bar. I raised an eyebrow. You just what? He rubbed his face. I just need to know, what are you going to do to me? I chuckled. What do you think I'm going to do? Jason swallowed hard. I don't know, man. You. He exhaled sharply. You scared the sh* out of me last night. The way you just sat there while it all fell apart, like you knew it was going to happen. I smirked. I did know. Jason let out another bitter laugh. Yeah. I figured. Silence stretched between us. Then, finally, he muttered, Am I *******************? I let the question hang for a moment, enjoying the way he squirmed. Then I shrugged. Depends. Jason frowned. On what? I leaned in, my voice low. How far Vanessa is willing to throw you under the bus to save herself. Jason's throat bobbed. I clapped him on the shoulder. Better start planning your exit, Jason. Then I stood and walked away, leaving him sitting there, completely ********** wrecked. I didn't hear from Vanessa until mid-afternoon. I had just finished lunch when my phone buzzed. Vanessa, come to my suite. Please. I smirked. She was finally breaking. I waited an hour before responding. Me busy. Try again later. 5 minutes later, another text. Vanessa, Mark, please. Just talk to me. I chuckled to myself. I let her sweat for another hour before making my way up. I knocked once. The door opened instantly. Vanessa stood there, her face pale, eyes red-rimmed like she had been crying. Her usually flawless hair was slightly messy, and she was wearing one of those expensive silk robes, the kind she only put on when she wanted to look soft, vulnerable, apologetic. I stepped inside, making sure to look completely unfazed. She closed the door behind me. Mark. Her voice was shaky, like she was trying to keep her emotions in check. I don't even know where to start. I leaned against the dresser, crossing my arms. Try the beginning. She swallowed, taking a hesitant step closer. Get up. She admitted. I know that. I raised an eyebrow. Took you long enough. She let out a small, choked laugh. Yeah. I guess I deserved that. I said nothing, waiting. She took a deep breath. I never meant for things to happen this way. I smirked. Oh? How exactly were they supposed to happen? She flinched. She shook her head. I wasn't thinking, Mark. I got caught up in something stupid. She swallowed. I didn't think you'd ever find out. I let out a low chuckle. So what you're saying is, you're sorry you got caught. Her eyes widened in panic. No. That's not. She exhaled sharply. I mean, I just don't want to lose you like this. I tilted my head. Like this? Vanessa took another slow step toward me, dropping her voice to a whisper. We can fix this, Mark. I said nothing. She hesitated, then reached out, grazing her fingers over my arm. We have history, she murmured. You can't just throw that away. I let the silence stretch, watching her closely. Then I laughed. Vanessa jerked back, startled. What? I shook my head, smirking. That's cute, Vanessa. Her lips parted. Mark. I held up a hand. You think you can ****ing manipulate me? Her breath hitched. I wasn't. You're desperate, I continued, stepping closer. You lost Jason, you lost your friends, and now? Now you're trying to salvage whatever you can. Her hands balled into fists. That's not. I smirked. I don't give a single F*** about you, Vanessa. Her mouth snapped shut. I exhaled, shaking my head. You cheated. You humiliated me. And now you're begging? I let out a bitter chuckle. You're pathetic. She flinched. She opened her mouth, like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. For the first time in her life, Vanessa had no more moves left. I stepped back, straightening my sleeves. Then I dropped the final bomb. Oh, and by the way, I said casually, the divorce papers? Already in motion. Her face went ghost white. I smiled. Enjoy the rest of your vacation, babe. Then I walked out, leaving her standing there, completely shattered. The sun was setting over the resort, casting deep orange and crimson streaks across the ocean. It should have been a beautiful view, romantic even. But all I could see was the end of a long, drawn-out nightmare. I was done. Vanessa had begged, tried to manipulate, even tried to touch me like she could somehow erase everything with one whispered apology. But it was too late. She had made her choice the second she booked room 714. And now? She was going to live with the consequences. I woke up early, packed my bags, and took my time getting ready. Daniel was already gone. He had left the night before with a knowing smirk and a final clap on my back. You're free now, kid. Enjoy it. And I planned to. I had one last stop to make before heading to the airport. I took the elevator to the lobby, strolled past the reception desk, and made my way toward the restaurant terrace where I knew Vanessa would be. And just like I expected, there she was. Sitting alone. She had sunglasses on, but I could tell by the way her hands gripped the edge of the table that she had barely slept. She looked wrecked. Good. I grabbed a coffee from the bar, took my time, and finally strolled over. I pulled out a chair across from her and sat down. Vanessa didn't look up. Morning, babe, I said, just to twist the knife. Her fingers twitched. Mark. I leaned back, sipping my coffee. How'd you sleep? She let out a bitter laugh. Are you enjoying this? I smirked. A little. She exhaled sharply, setting down her spoon. So that's it, huh? Her voice was tight. You're just walking away? I tilted my head. What exactly do you expect me to do, Vanessa? Cry? Beg? Give you a second chance? Her lips pressed into a thin line. I chuckled. You don't deserve a second chance. She finally looked up, her expression unreadable. You really hate me that much? I smirked. No. Hating you would mean I still care. I took another sip. I just don't give a f asterisk about you anymore. Asterisk asterisk. She flinched. I let the silence stretch, enjoying the moment. Then, finally, she whispered, I was scared. I raised an eyebrow. Of what? She swallowed hard, staring at her hands. Of getting stuck. Of never feeling that spark again. I let out a cold laugh. Oh, so I was just a boring obligation to you. She winced. Mark, No, I get it. I leaned in, dropping my voice. You wanted the fun, the thrill. You wanted to have your little secret. You wanted Jason to make you feel special while I was at home paying for your ****** ing lifestyle. She swallowed hard. That's not fair. I cut her off. Nothing about this was fair, Vanessa. She exhaled shakily. I didn't think it would turn out like this. I laughed. Yeah? Well, either did Jason. Her eyes snapped up, wide with panic. Jason? I smirked. Oh. You didn't hear? I leaned back, stretching my arms. He left last night. She froze. He left? I grinned. packed his bags and took an early flight home. Vanessa paled. He wouldn't just leave. Oh, but he did. I chuckled. Guess he figured out you were going to throw him under the bus the second your little game blew up in your face. Her lips parted slightly, realization hitting her like a train. Jason was gone. Her friends weren't talking to her. She was completely alone. I stood up, stretching. Anyway, gotta head to the airport. Divorce papers should be on your desk by the time you get home. Vanessa's breath hitched. Mark, wait. I turned. No. Her eyes widened. I smirked. I'm done waiting. And with that, I walked away, leaving Vanessa sitting there, completely ing destroyed. The airport was busy, the usual hum of conversations and boarding calls filling the air. I had just passed security when I heard a voice behind me. Mark. I turned. Kelsey. She had her sunglasses pushed up onto her head, a coffee in one hand, a duffel slung over her shoulder. I raised an eyebrow. Didn't expect to see you here. She smirked. Didn't expect to see you handle this like AF *****ing pro. I chuckled. You enjoyed that, huh? She grinned. Oh, everyone did. She tilted her head. So, where you headed? Home. Kelsey studied me for a second, then took a slow step forward. You know, she mused. Vanessa might have been a cheating B*********, but at least she was right about one thing. I raised an eyebrow. What's that? Kelsey smirked. You are kinda hot when you stop being a doormat. I laughed. Oh yeah? She shrugged. Yeah. Then she leaned in, her voice dropping to a whisper. And if you ever want to celebrate your divorce, call me. She slipped a napkin into my hand with her number written on it, winked, and walked away. I stared down at the napkin for a second. Then I grinned. Vanessa had lost everything. I was just getting started.